Welcome to this deep dive. We take our sources and really try to get under the skin of a complex story.
Mhm.
Today, we're looking at the Long Island serial killer case, or LISK. We've pulled together info on the initial finds, the big questions still surrounding it all.
Yeah, the goal here is really to boil down the key facts from what we've read and try to grasp the core of this, well, this really chilling true crime story.
What's so unsettling, I think, is how it all began. It wasn't like, let's find a serial killer.
And not at all. It started with a search for just one missing woman, Shanann Gilbert, and then it just snowballed into something much, much bigger, much darker.
Right. It shows how sometimes one incident, seemingly isolated, can sort of peel back the layers on something truly disturbing underneath.
Exactly. So it kicks off in May 2010. Shanann Gilbert disappears. And that 911 call she made,
Oh, that call. They're trying to kill me. I mean, talk about raising immediate red flags.
absolutely terrifying. And you have to remember the focus then was just find Shanann, find this missing person. Nobody expected what came next.
Nobody. Then December 2010 rolls around, and the whole thing just shifts, doesn't it?
Dramatically. They're searching for Shanann near Gilgo Beach, and instead they find, well, they find remains.
A woman's body,
Mm.
wrapped in burlap. Just finding that must have been horrific.
Utterly grim. And it was the first real sign that this was maybe, something far worse than one missing person case.
And it wasn't the last. That first discovery, grim as it was basically just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, as the search widened, they found more. More bodies, all women. And most, it seems, were believed to be escorts.
A pattern started showing up pretty quickly, didn't it?
A very disturbing one. Victims who'd been strangled, their bodies just discarded in these really desolate, out-of-the-way spots.
Initially, it was 4 bodies, right? Found pretty close together near Gilgo Beach.
That's right. 4 victims initially discovered in that specific area. And it's so important, like our sources stressed, to remember these weren't just, statistics or job titles.
No, absolutely.
These were people, mothers, daughters, sisters, as the text says, human beings.
Yeah, remembering their humanity is crucial. It underscores just the awful tragedy of it all. Their lives cut short.
And their potential vulnerability, maybe the isolation that sometimes comes with that line of work.
Yeah,
It might have made them targets.
you'd think. So naturally, this whole thing blows up. National news.
Oh, yeah, huge attention. The idea of a serial killer operating there,
Yeah,
it terrified people.
yeah.
Understandably.
But even with all that attention, all the police work,
Yeah.
finding the killer, it's been, well, a real struggle, a long one.
Decades now. And that lack of progress, it raises so many questions, doesn't it?
Key questions like, was the killer local? Did they know that area, Gilgo Beach, the South Shore, like the back of their hand?
Right, that specific desolate terrain. And why these women? Was there something connecting them beyond, being escorts? What made them the targets?
The police did put out a description, but it was pretty limited.
Very limited. Basically, a white male, maybe in his 40s or 50s, someone likely familiar with those remote spots on Long Island.
They released sketches too, didn't they? Hoping someone might recognize him or remember seeing something.
Yeah, sketches were circulated. But unfortunately, nothing concrete came from them. No arrests. It kind of highlights how little they really had to go on.
Then there was that whole Bitroff connection thing that came up later, around 2016.
Yes. John Bitroff. He was convicted for killing 2 women back in the 90s, also on Long Island. So there was speculation, naturally. Could he be LISK?
A tantalizing lead, maybe.
It seemed like it for a moment, but, and this is important, he's never been officially tied to the Gilgo Beach murder.
Right? No official link.
But the fact that it was even considered, that connection,
Yeah.
it does make you think, doesn't it? It raises possibilities, maybe multiple killers. Or maybe the whole situation is just way more complex than anyone first thought.
It's a really crucial point, because despite leads like that, despite all the interest, the hard truth is, we still don't know who did this.
Still unknown. And that leaves the families, well, you can only imagine, stuck in this limbo. No answers, no real closure.
Just unimaginable pain and uncertainty.
And we have to keep bringing it back to the victims. Always remember them. Shanann Gilbert, Maureen Brainerd Brown. Just 2 examples, but there were 10 victims in total linked to this.
Real people, real lives tragically ended, each one with a story.
Absolutely. Their stories matter.
So, as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, we're left staring at these same huge unanswered questions that have hung over this case for so long.
Yeah. Who is the Long Island serial killer? What on earth motivates someone to do these things?
And how have they managed to avoid being caught for all this time, despite, all the effort.
These are the questions that keep investigators going, keep the case alive. And it's so important for you, listening, to know this isn't some cold case file gathering dust.
No, the search for justice is very much ongoing.
It is. Which leads to a really practical point.
Yeah.
If you or anyone you know might have any information, seriously, anything at all, no matter how small or insignificant it seems.
Please contact the Suffolk County Police Department. Don't hesitate.
Exactly.
Huh.
Sometimes the tiniest detail, something you might dismiss, could be the key. It could be the missing piece they need.
It really could. And beyond just tips, there's something else we can all do, right?
Definitely. Keep their memories alive. Remember the victims. Keep talking about it. Keep asking the hard questions. That pressure, that public memory, it helps drive the search for truth, for justice.
Well said. So here's a final thought for you to mull over after we finish up here. Considering everything we've talked about, the location, the victims' profiles, how long this has remained unsolved, what single factor do you think has been the biggest roadblock for investigators trying to catch the Long Island serial killer?